Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to be answering the question, what the fuck does all of this mean? This section of the garage is dedicated to ammunition and consumables. Ammo type might seem like an odd topic to cover, but each shell has their nuances that could really make a big difference in any given engagement. Consumables are another aspect of World of Tanks that can make a huge difference in-game. Since there are so many options to choose from, we are going to go over them as well. So get ready for another episode of the Tank Academy. There are 4 main types of ammunition that will be discussed in this episode, along with 6 or so different consumable types, so there is a lot to cover. The first topic that will be discussed are the different types of ammunition. There are 4 different types of ammunition within the game: AP, APCR, Heat, and HE. The first type of ammo are AP rounds. AP rounds are your usual standard rounds. There aren't any armor types that they are good or bad against, their travel time is completely average, and they lose a normal amount of penetration over distance. There isn't a lot to talk about here. The only thing that you really need to keep in mind with AP or armor-piercing rounds is that they do lose penetration over distance, so firing point blank will have more penetration than firing at something 400 meters away. The second type of ammunition is APCR. APCR is what you will typically see as your premium rounds at lower tier, or at the higher tiers, some tanks fire APCR as standard. APCR is like AP except more of a whiny bitch. The shells typically have higher velocity, so they reach their target faster, but they have a hissy fit if they hit anything that isn't flat. This doesn't mean that APCR cannot penetrate angled armor, just that they are more susceptible to bounces or non-penetrations when they come into contact with an angled surface. The third variety of ammunition is heat rounds. These rounds perform quite differently from standard A shells. To start off, they usually have pretty poor shell velocity, so don't expect heat rounds to get anywhere quickly. They also lose no penetration over distance, so they will be just as effective at point blank range as they are shooting at 400 meters away. Their main drawback, however, is their weakness against spaced armor. Spaced armor is when 2 different armor plates are separated and have space between them, hence the name spaced armor. Take the Tier 5 German Panzer IV-H for example. The side skirts that the tank has count as armor, but since there is a gap between the side skirts and the hull, if a shell were to hit both the side skirts and the hull at the same time, the skirts would count as spaced armor. Heat rounds struggle against this kind of armor. This isn't to say that spaced armor is impervious to heat rounds, they can still go through spaced armor, it's just that there is a higher chance that the shell either doesn't do anything, or just does critical damage, such as destroying tracks, but does not actually penetrate the hull and deal damage to the tank. The final shell type is HE. HE rounds have around the same shell velocity as heat rounds, in which their shell velocity sucks. They also typically have absolute dogshit pen, usually only a third or even less of your standard AP shells. Their main advantage, however, is if you do penetrate, the shot does substantially more damage than standard AP, APCR, or heat shells, nearly double for some tanks. They also have the unique ability of being able to deal small amounts of damage to the enemy vehicle even if they do not penetrate. Although this ability was substantially nerfed recently, so it does not matter nearly as much as of this video being made. There are also numerous consumables that are worth mentioning, the most basic of which are repair kits and medkits. Repair kits allow you to repair modules back to full durability, rather than being yellow or red. Small repair kits allow you to repair one module, while large repair kits allow you to repair all modules at once. Keep in mind though, that large repair kits are much more expensive. The same rule applies to medkits, except that they revive injured crew members instead of repairing modules. Fire extinguishers do exactly what you expect. They extinguish fires. Small fire extinguishers require manually using them, which can lead to taking extra damage if you aren't paying attention. Large fire extinguishers go off instantly, so you only take minimal damage from the fire. Again, the large fire extinguisher is much more expensive than the small fire extinguisher, but you use them much less often than repair kits or medkits, so I think it is 100% worth using them even if you do not have a premium account. Gas is a consumable where for either 5 or 10,000 credits a game, you gain either 5 or 10% extra engine power. This equipment isn't ever really used, but some people can still find some worth in gas. The final type of consumable that will be discussed is food. These consumables are outrageously expensive, 20,000 credits a game, but they make your tank statistics about 5% better. If you are trying to min-max a tank to its maximum capacity, then you run food. But I seldom use food and most free-to-play players never use it. This video was definitely on the shorter end, but it doesn't make it any less important than the other episodes in this series. Ammunition and consumable mechanics are going to be used constantly in-game, and learning them can give you a really large advantage. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm unbearable. See you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my other videos. If you did not enjoy this video, then beat me over the head with a club.